All right. Hello, hello. First of all, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. So at the bottom, we'll do a little test at the bottom of your Zoom window. Yes, Felicity already has it. Under React, just hit the thumbs up button. You should see, there we go. I'm getting a bunch of thumbs up. Um, Part of that is just because I wanted to play with it. So I appreciate you guys letting me play with that. But anyway, let's get started, I guess. So first of all, I want to welcome you. I am John Sanders. I am the lead web developer here at ORU, and I will be your host today. We're going to try to make it as fun as possible. Um, Keyword try, but we're going to do what we can. We're going to learn some things and we're going to answer some questions. With me, though, although you can see me in front of the camera, I have Prim. He's over here in the room with me. So Prim, if you'll just wave. The first thing, actually, I'm going to share my screen again and we'll get into it. So I'll give you a few reminders. I'm going to go over what we're actually going to talk about today. So as a reminder, we have oru.edu/omni training. And so this is a resource center we put together for everyone. Our idea was kind of like, well, I went through the training, I don't know, maybe you're working late at 6 o'clock or whatever, and you just can't remember something simple like, oh, how do I upload the PDFs or the image or whatever? You can come here. You can scroll down. You have all these different categories. If you forgot how to do a PDF, you can click on PDFs right here. There you go. You got 3 different videos I walk you through step by step. If you have not been Omni trained, you can get Omni trained right here. Omni training is about an hour and 10 minutes, if I remember correctly. And we split it up into about 11 different videos. And the whole purpose was, you know, maybe before lunch, you can do 1 or 2. And then after lunch, you can do another one. So we wanted to split it up so it's easy to have little start and stop points for you. So you can kind of take it at your own pace. So let me go back to here. Also, at the end, we'll have a Q&A session. So just right next to the reactions, I think it's like 2 or 3 icons over. There's a little speech bubble icon with a question mark. So we have Q&A there. So if you have a question while we're doing the training, feel free to type that in. At the end, we're going to spend about 15, 20 minutes and we're going to talk about Omni. I'm going to answer your questions. Some people have already put their questions in, so we'll start off with those questions. And after that, we'll open it up to any questions about this training. And then if there's any questions that I didn't go over in this training, but it has to do with Omni, I'll open it up to that. So you will have time to answer questions. And okay, so what are we covering today? So today we're covering how to edit/create faculty profile pages. I picked that for 2 reasons. At the beginning of the year, typically we have a lot of new people, a lot of new faces, a lot of new profile pages need to be built or changed. And also it covers a lot of the basics that you would learn if you have gone through the training. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone. We'll also be going over ADA compliance and what that even is. So if you don't know what it is, you'll know today. We'll talk about images, using approved images. What is an approved image? Images and using them on other websites and apps. And then, like I said before, we're going to have a Q&A session. So, okay, so so that's what we're doing today. What we're not doing today is not the basic training, although we will be covering a lot of the same things. I know a lot of you went through your basic training before, so thank you. But if you have not, you still need to complete that. And you would go back to the oru.edu/omni-training. So that site I just showed you a few seconds ago. And you can go through the training there. And that's how you get your login. All right, so let's keep it moving. I'm going to try to keep you guys here for about 50 to 60 minutes. It's my goal. Kind of depends on how many questions you have, but try to get you in and out. So let's talk about ADA compliance and what that is. So ADA is the American Disability Act. And so how does that apply to the website and what you'll be doing? So the ADA, they want to provide equal access to people with disabilities. So there are some people who have to use a screen reader when they're on the website. So basically, they're hitting the tab button, and there's a voice reading out what it's tabbing over, like images, things like that. And anyway, so there's certain things you have to do to the website to make sure it's accessible for those screen readers and things like that. Now, we've done a lot of things on the back end. So there's a lot you won't have to do there as far as coding and stuff like that. But you're probably asking, okay, well, what do I need to do? So it's the simple things like images, how you pick colors. There's things like blank headings or blank links. For instance, a blank link is if you start off with the link and maybe you forgot to put, the click here, or you forgot to put where the link should go. Um, Things like that seem simple to most of us, but if you're using, like I said, a screen reader or something else that's assisting you, it can kind of, we've actually seen it, we've tested it out, and yeah, it does actually cause a lot of issues. So one of the two biggest, I guess I would say, is the image alt tags and the alt text. So what are those? When you're using a screen reader, if you go over an image for someone who can't see the image, it's going to describe the image for them. So that's really important. It's just simple things like if you had a picture of a student walking across campus, you would actually type in, this is a picture of a student walking across campus. So it's pretty simple. Color contrast is another big one, and this actually would be helpful for PDFs too. So even though the PDF may be printed, it's what the ADA wants to make sure is that the background color and the text that goes above it have enough contrast so people who may have issues seeing colors, they can still tell the difference. So obviously, black black background with white text, black and white are they have the greatest contrast at all the two colors. So you'd be perfect with that. But there's some things like if you put a white text on a white background, the text becomes invisible. You can't see it. So those are extremes. I will show you real quick. Let me share my screen again. So there are places you can go, and you can actually just type in. You can Google like online. I'll just do it real quick. Online contrast checker. And so here's one with WebAIM. I recommend that one. And you can just put the hex values in here. It'll tell you the contrast ratio. If it passes, AAA is what we're looking for. That's the best. AA still works, but it'll help you with that. So you can look that up. Now, if you go to oru.edu/brand colors, surprisingly, you'll find our brand colors there. You can just click this. It'll scroll down for you, but here's our brand colors. And of course, you can click on any of these. You can use them in your PDFs. You can use them on the site. But we actually went through, just for you guys, because we love you so much. And we went through and looked at all of our approved brand colors. And we saw which ones you can combine together so that they are still ADA compliant. So, for instance, if you wanted to know all the AAA colors, you could just click that. And then here's all of the colors that are AAA approved. So if you wanted this combination, you could just click here, and then so it's been copied, and then you could paste it someplace else. Same thing with this color for the black. So we're trying to help you out there. Okay. So let's talk about images. So approved images, we have a set of approved images for you guys so you can pick from those. We are strongly encouraging you against Googling something and screenshotting it and putting it on the website. There's people who made those images who don't like that. And so they hire lawyers to let us know that they don't like them. So we created some, what do you call them? We created some links with a group, an assortment of images that you can choose from. We have like campus building shots. So if you just are looking for certain buildings or even aerial views of campus, we have those for you. They've all been approved. You can use them. We have some of students, so like students, events, and more. And actually, I guess I'm gonna have to share my screen again. So it's actually on the OMNI Resource Center. So if you've been here a lot, you've noticed that this is actually new. And we want to thank Prim for that. So Prim, I'm gonna give you a hand clap for that. So thank you, Prim. But here you go. You can actually click on campus buildings, or I think it's look Prim, see? Well, we have campus buildings, students. So like if I click on students and go here on it, there we go. Dropbox, that's what I was trying to say earlier. But you can go here and then you would just pick an image. If you like this image, you could just download it. And then of course you go through the normal process of uploading it to Omni or whatever page you want to use. And you guys can use this for print too. You can probably tell by the file size if you know anything, but this is 12 megabytes. So you could put that on a poster or something like that too. But these are all approved. If there is, if you're wanting an image for a specific page, because we do know there are rare occasions where we didn't get to see the future and know everything you wanted, you can put in a Photoshop, sorry, not a Photoshop, but photo shoot request. And we can talk to you and see how we can help get you the image that you need, whatever specific case that you're trying to get that for. So quick summary with approved images, either use campus buildings, students, if you need something more, do the photo shoot request, and then we can talk about it, or, if need be, we'll get the photographer out there and he'll take a picture for you. So while we're talking about images and other websites, most people won't run into this, but let me give you an example. Let's say this is on our website. When you upload an image to our website, it'll give you a URL, and that can be handy. The issue is if you take that URL and say, oh, I also want this on LinkedIn or I don't know, whatever other website or app, and you give it our URL, that can cause issues for us in our website. Now, in this example, if you had this image on your computer, you could still upload that picture to Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. That's no problem. We just don't want you to upload it to the website, then take the URL from our website and then put it on another website. Hopefully that's clear as mud. I think the big thing is if you're going to upload a picture, just upload it from your computer to whatever app you want it. If you have questions, let me know in the Q&A and we'll talk about them. Okay, so we're going to watch, let's see, where is it? Here we go. How to create and edit faculty bio. So we'll watch this and I'll get this started. And then after this, we'll have Q&A time. So it looks like we're actually doing pretty good. Okay. That's more time for you and your questions. Okay. If you have new faculty members in your department who need to be added to this faculty listing page, in this video, you'll learn everything you need to know to add them to this listing page. So real quick, let's first explain how this works. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to create a bio page. So this is an example of one of the bio pages, and that page automatically populates the listing page. So all the information you see here is done by editing this page. So let's go ahead and get started. To start off with, you have to actually have a login. So if you don't have a login, because you can't use the training login. So if you have not gone through and done the full training yet, go ahead, stop this video, do the training, get your login, and then come back. Okay, so we're going to come to the home folder right here. You can always click on this icon to make sure you're there. And then we're going to look for the faculty folder. So I'm going to click that. So here's the faculty folder. It has all of the faculty members that show up on the listing page. And so what we're going to do is click New. There's only one page to click, so this is the page you click. So here we go. So we need to have a first name. So I'm going to use Kent Hart. And then the department. Now, one thing with the department you need to understand is you need to use exactly what you see here. So we're going to use theater, dance, and visual art. So if you put theater, no comma, dance, and then visual arts, it would be wrong and it wouldn't work. So you need to put the exact thing. It's case sensitive. So T, the D, the V, and the A need to be capitalized. So whenever you're putting in the department names, you may want to look at the actual page to see what department to use. So we'll come back here, and we are using theater, dance, and visual art. So this description here just needs to be real short. I'm going to use something that I already prepared. But really, you just want to use their name, they're a professor of what, and then there's any kind of accolades that you want to add in there, but just, again, keep it short. So a file name, as you see over here, the file names we have a system. It is first name, last name, all lowercase with a hyphen. So for Dr. Kent, we're going to put Kent Art like that, and then click Create. So here we go. It'll take you to your page to actually make edits. The first thing I'm going to do is actually insert the bio information. And so just so you can kind of see what that is, that's this part. So for this video, I'm just using, I'm going to look up lorem ipsum, copy that. There we go. There is our bio. And then all you need to do is hit save. Okay, so now we have the actual copy of the bio. So now we need, as you see here, we need the image. So I don't know if you remember when I told you that the information here feeds the listing page. So I'm going to take you to where you need to do that. So multi-edit, you're going to click that. This is where all the information is. Now, if you did it correctly, when we first set this up, it asked us first name, last name. So it already pre-populated this. But if you ever needed to edit, I don't know, if someone gets married and their last name changes, this is where you would do that. So we already have first name, we already have last name. So for title, for Kent, I'm going to use Professor of Drama. Classification, that's a field that we actually don't use. Department, again, if you didn't put it in at the beginning, you need to do it now. And then you need to make sure you're using the correct casing, if there's commas, spacing, everything. So, but we're good with this one. We're going to use College of Arts and Cultural Studies, but you would just click this drop-down menu and you can select the different colleges. So we need to put their ORU email in there. So he's going to be khart@oru.edu. And then, of course, we need the phone number. And with the phone number, you need to use periods instead of hyphens. So in this case, it's 918.495.1234. Okay. And so now we need, this is the listing image. So this is the image that's going to show up here. And a rule of thumb is if you use an image that is 450 by 450 pixels, it'll work in both places, meaning it'll work here and it'll work right here. So it's kind of a shortcut, but you can if you wanted to. If you wanted to have two separate pictures and you wanted to crop a picture just for this, you can do that. So I've already uploaded my image and I have my dependency tags. So I'm just going to paste that right here. And then we need to make an image description. So I will just say Professor Dr. Kent Hart with 2 R's. Now that we have that, we do have areas where you can put their social media, and that's simple. I'm going to use ORUs, so you just need to copy and paste the URL. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to add this to every single field just so you can see what it looks like, but obviously you would only do Instagram with Instagram, Twitter with Twitter, etc. Okay, this is the area if the faculty member is an advisor. This you would make your edits and changes here. For the sake of this video, he will not be an advisor.
So we filled out everything here that we need. We're going to click save. And here we go. Okay, so now you see we have the phone number that we put here, the email, and we have all of our social media. Now, the image is missing. So where you need to go is to Properties. And then you're going to scroll down until you see Profile Image. So this is where we're going to put the dependency tag. And again, we need an alt text. So again, this is going to be Professor Dr. Kent Hart. All right. Now, there are also buttons, like for instance, if you wanted to add someone's CV to the page, you can do that. There is a CV form that you have to fill out first that's giving permission from the professor that he or she is okay with having their CV on the website. So you have to fill that out first before this would get approved. But you could put these buttons here, and I'll just do something as an example. Okay, so we'll do that here too. Okay, and then click save. All right, there we go. Now we have Professor Kent Hart. And then this is an example of the buttons that you could. So again, if you had a CV that you wanted someone to be able to, and what you would do is you would get the CV in PDF form and then upload the PDF. And then that's what you would link this to. Now again, I skipped over how to upload the image and how to upload PDFs. We have other videos that talk about that, so you can look on our page where all of our OMNI training is located to get that. So, okay, so here we go. Now we have the image. Now we have all the LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media, phone number, email, and we have buttons. So I will publish this just so you can see what it would look like. So we're going to publish Kent Hart's Professor of Drama, and there you go.
Okay, well, now we're going to be open to Q&A questions. And it looks like, let's see, we didn't get any new ones. Okay, so I'm just going to take that as I did such a good job of training you guys. You know everything now. So I'll take that as a thank you, Felicity. Thank you. All right, so here we're going to go in the order of which we received them, and we'll just kind of go through them. So the first one I see is Chiriz, and I am almost 100% right that I didn't pronounce that right, and I'm so sorry. So please forgive me. But you said how to add sidebar menu items on a page. So that's a good question. And actually, I'm going to combine your question because Susan Laffron, your question is similar about the sidebars. Is I need help fixing the student health page. How do I fix the in this section box on the left side of the student health page? The words immunizations, medical assessment run over the box and into the hours section, and I'm having issues accessing the box. Okay, so I'm going to answer both of these at the same time. So let me share my screen. So Susan, if you're on, I'm presuming that this is the page you were talking about. Like I said, we have close to 1,000 pages. So I'm presuming this is the one that you're talking about. This is the student health services. And I'm guessing it's this right here. And let me refresh this. There we go. We did make some stylistic changes, and I'll explain that later. What I think was going on is when you were at a smaller, I don't know if you can tell how when you get smaller, you lose a lot of space right there. And I think before it was hitting the edge and coming across. So there are a few solutions to that. One, like if you split so after the S in immunizations, if you put a space between that / then the browser would know that this is a separate word, and it would like just push the word medical down to the bottom. So that was one way to do it. We added some little extra styling to make it fit a little bit better. So, but let's say that the only way to fix it was you had to actually come up with maybe a more concise way of saying this, or you had to split the forward slash up. What you would do, of course, you'd come down here, click the copyright symbol, you would log in, and it would take you to, let's see if it gets here. Anyway, a page like this. So this isn't the page. So you would start here. You would click content pages, and you want to do that because you want to get back to the folders where all the files and folders are for the website. So in your folder, quick little explanation of how we kind of do the website. Each folder is able to have its own nav file, and you probably guessed it's this one that says nav. And the way it works is we want you to put I want to say like-minded, but similar topics together in a folder. So for instance, if you were doing financial aid on the sidebar, it might be international, it might be transfer students, it might be grad students, right? Because those all kind of go together. But you wouldn't put like campus map, or you wouldn't put the, girls volleyball team's schedule. So you want to kind of group like things. But anyway, you'll come here, you'll click on underscore nav, you'll open that up, and you'll see here it's actually very simple. It just uses bullet lists. Now there's two sections here. And let's see, do I still have the page? I do. So you see there's two sections here as well. So that's one option. And typically when you do that, this would be the part that everything's very similar. Like I said, if it was financial aid, you'd find international students and transfer, et cetera. But the second one, you can kind of, like if you wanted to send them and say, hey, well, maybe you're finished with financial aid, you want to go and actually look at the different programs we have. So that's kind of a good place. But we wanted to give you a way to kind of separate the two. So anyway, you have an option to do two. Yours happened to be at the top. So I know this isn't the exact nav file, but you would go to edit navigation one, and you would click here, and then the WYSIWYG would pop up. And like I said, this is very simple. It's just a bullet list with links. So if we'll say this was it, you can either click here on this icon, or you can right click and click link, and you'll get this. So you could change the URL here to wherever it goes. This says text to display. So you can just add a space or delete something and change it. You can also decide if it should open up in a new window or a current window. If it's going to a PDF, or if it's going to a if it's going to a site that's not ours. So if it's leaving oru.edu, you want to open up in a new window. So for now, I'm just going to cancel this. And if you want to add something, you could just hit enter. It gives you another bullet. You want to get rid of something, you just hit delete. And you would click save. I'm not going to on this one. And then you would hit publish. And that's it. And then you'll have to republish your page so that it knows to go look for the new sidebar. So that is how you would fix that. And so hopefully that answered both Susan. I'm trying to look at, I forgot everybody can see. and okay, well, and please let me know, Susan Archer, if that answered your question. I'll try to give you a few seconds, or you can give me a thumbs up. There we go. I got a thumbs up. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Okay, the next one is from Cole. Cole says, I don't know why I'm pretending this is some place where people are writing in and asking questions like some radio show. Anyway, but Cole from Oral Roberts University says, when uploading a document and adding it to a web page, is there an easier way to upload, publish, and add? Oh, sorry, the things are moving around, and add to the website. Instead of having two tabs open and walking through the process of uploading, Can I work in the same tab? That's a good question, Cole. The answer is yes and no. So you have to upload the PDF to um, the website in Omni, and you have to tell Omni what page you want that to be linked from. You can't really get around that. There is a in our Omni, an Omni hyphen training, there is a separate way or a second way using an app called Calameo. If you want to do that, you can just let us know. We'll sign you up. There's no cost associated. That's a little different. It's best for someone who has a PDF that needs to be updated on a regular basis, and it's of a PDF that you've like emailed or something like that, and you want to keep the link the same, but you want to update the PDF information. Well, you can use this third party. They'll give you the link. And then if you need to update it, you just like click and say update. You click and drag your PDF and it updates it. And the links update it and everything like that too. Now you would still have to put that link on the page that you want. So it's a little bit quicker, maybe. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you have to upload the PDF someplace and you still have to link it on your page. So I hope that answers your question too, Cole. If you'll give me a thumbs up later, or if it didn't, you can ask another question. But we'll keep going. Let's see. So, okay. Felicity gave me a thumbs up. So, Cole, I'm just going to take that as it helps you out too. The next one. This one is, I'll see if you guys catch it. So, I've read through this one. This one is a professional question asker. I don't know if that's a word, but anyway, you'll see. They were able to get 4 questions in the 2 slots we had. So this is Jason. I see you laughing, Jason. So his first question is, I would like a review of procedures for creating new pages within a new navigation structure, as well as new pages from templates that would fit into existing navigation structures. Okay. So I'm going to answer question 1A. Actually, you know what? Let me share because it'll probably make more sense if you can see what I'm saying. So I'm in here, and I'll have to switch back and forth so I can see your question, but click new. Something I run into a lot, I just want to click new folder because it's technically a folder. But what you need to actually do is scroll down to new section, and it's got a picture and it's got a little folder on top of the picture. Why do you need to do this? When you do new section, it'll actually create the nav file for you. So you can actually have a sidebar. If you just did new folder, it wouldn't do it. So that's the first step of my my answer for you. The second one is, let me stop sharing so I can see your question again. As far as the procedure is pretty simple. What we ask if you're trying to redo a section or you come up with a brand new section is that you help us out with an outline. So a lot of times is to get something down on paper so it's not all in our heads. We can look at that on paper, then we can discuss it. So typically we ask for an outline, and I'll give you an example what that would look like here in a second. But you'd get an outline. You can send it to us. Hey, John, this is what we think we need. We'd look over that and we'd decide, oh, you could probably combine these or whatever, and we can come up with the best place where to put it and things like that. And then we would create all the pages and the folder structure for you. And then you'll come in behind us and you can put in all the copy and images and whatnot. But let me give you an example of because I think it'll help everyone. So let me share again. There we go. It's right here. Okay, so this is my section outline example. So this is really as simple as it needs to be. You're really just telling us what pages you need and then how to group those pages. So here we have folder A. So you're going to put a page about international students, then transfer students, then graduate students. Folder B, you're going to decide this is going to be more focused on student aid or financial aid. So then you have a financial aid, you have international financial aid. Now you might have a subfolder and you might say, well, we want to split this up by region. Maybe we have different scholarships by country or region or whatever. So you would do that. So we just need something this simple so we can look through it. and we can kind of help you say, oh, okay, like, some of what we use on our website, we kind of have a slight different approach, and we'll combine this, combine that. So hopefully that helps with your first question. Let's see. So your second question, oh yeah, what is the proper procedure for naming files, images, and PDFs, as well as what is the best location to store these centrally as defined by your staff or more relative to the pages needed? Oh, needing those images. Okay, so I won't go in detail. We have that in our Omni resources. We actually have a video. I believe it's how to upload. Yeah, so we talk about it here, how to upload an image. But we have an images folder. So if you come to you want to be at the home folder. So you know you're at the home folder if you've clicked the little house icon. So we're in the home folder, and then you can just type in images. You'll see images. And you didn't ask it, but PDFs, we have a separate one for PDFs. And inside each of these, each department has the ability to create their own folders. So like here you see academics has one, alumni's got one, the aerobic center. And that's just for you. You can make your own just so I mean, we have 200 pages. And so, yeah, and each page has 100 something items. And anyway, it makes it easier for you to find your images. As far as the naming convention, actually, we went over that in our video today. So for all files, especially like the actual pages, it should be all lowercase, no special characters except a hyphen. So you can put a hyphen any place where a space would be. So like if I was doing my name, it would be lowercase j ohn hyphen sandrs, and then that would be how you do it. Now, when you do images and PDFs, as you probably tell, it's a little more lenient on here. Like this one has, it's capital, there's spaces, but you will notice there aren't any special characters. If you try to upload something from your computer that has special characters, like normally you see it with like parentheses because it may be the fifth version. You try to upload that, it'll let you know that you can't do it and it won't let you upload it. So you'll just have to change the file name on your computer first to match all lowercase, only special characters is hyphens, and that'll work. Another thing, if you try to upload it into a folder that's not the PDFs or the images folder, it'll tell you something about like there's an error with like this format's not allowed. Um, if you get that, then it should be a reminder like, oh, I'm in the wrong folder. I need to put images in the images folder, PDFs in the PDFs folder. So I think I answered everything. Yeah, if you'll give me a thumbs up, let me know if I answered all of that. Okay, I think I can see you. There you go. Okay. Perfect. There we go. And Felicity again. I wish I had a prize. I would give Felicity one for participation. So thanks, Felicity. All right. The last one is, do we do we use stage or production to modify faculty profile pages? Okay. So that's a good question. So when we're doing anything in the website, oh, thanks, Jason. If we're doing anything in the website, you want to be in staging. If you're uploading an image, staging. If you're uploading a PDF, staging. If you're editing a page, you can actually only do it in staging, but it should be staging. If you upload a PDF or image on the production, what happens is from time to time, me and Prim have to go because we only have finite space on our server. We have to delete things that are older, and we typically start with things that are on the production server but not in the staging server. So if you want to protect your images, I would make sure you put them in the staging server. Also, Omni, you lose a lot of functionality with Omni, our content management system, if you do it just on the production server. Like you can't use the dependency tags, and there's a lot of things like as far as search and things like that that you'll miss out on if you do that. So yeah, you should always be in staging. So thank you. Now, that's all the planned questions we have. I'll try to give you guys about a minute to see if there's anything else you have. Like I said, now's your time. We can answer in real time and screen share. Oh, here we go. I got something. So what does it say? So if I create a new page, how do I add that side navigation? What I think you're saying is if you create a brand new page and that page happens to not have a sidebar on it, how do you add a sidebar? Is that what you're asking? Yes. Okay. The simple answer is you have to pick a different template. So each template, there's some there's some templates that are specifically built without a sidebar. So you can't add it afterwards. Um, if you want the sidebar, you can use, I think it's called the internal page template. Now, if you're just trying to look for what I call sideways navigation, there's different things that you can use. I know like here, let me go back to the screen share. Our online page is a good example of this template. So this one doesn't have a sidebar because it's full width. But we have this, I call this the LNS bar, which is the logical next step. So it's kind of like a sidebar. You can have anywhere from 3 to 5 links. So this is kind of how you can still have that sideways navigation without a nav bar. So I don't know if something like that helps you. You would have to choose this template to do it. We do our best to make things interchangeable, but some templates have their own little special functionality. So does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah, and if you need help, you can email me. We can schedule something, and we can figure that out exactly. Well, there'll be another training later this semester or in the spring once I have a chance to play around a bit in the system. So typically, we only do it once a year. I guess if we get enough people asking for it, we could do it next semester. If you have questions like you're trying to build a new page or something or a new section, you can always reach out to us and then we can kind of help you. Like a good example is if you have a new page, what we typically need from you is to understand what information needs to be on the page, any kind of ideas you may have, but typically just what information you need on the page, the purpose of the page, things like that. And we can kind of work with you to say, hey, this template B would probably fit that the best, and we can kind of direct you like that. And then usually we'll help, like I said, set the page up, get it up and running. Think of us like if we're building a house, we build the house, we put the foundation, exterior, everything. But then once we're done, you still have to move in and bring your furniture and pictures and all that stuff. So I think we have time for one more quick question. If you have web dev experience, is there a spot to code in? That's a good question. Um, yeah, we should probably just meet after here. We typically don't, just because there's a lot of different things that go into that. Like I said, there's ADA things, ADA compliance. There's our CMS. We have certain like procedures on how we do stuff to make sure things are easy for you guys and also sustainable for us because we have to make sure everything stays up. You probably weren't here for before this version of the website. We had what the president called a Franken site because we just had so much custom things. Almost every single page was a totally different look, totally different feel, and it was very disjointed. You didn't know where the navigation was. And anyway, so that's something that we have been tasked with to make sure it never happens again. So anyway, um, okay, yeah, you do recall the old site. Perfect. But yeah, if you want to talk with us, there may be a template that you don't know about that you may like and that you could use. So, but anyway, well, I want to thank everybody for joining, and hopefully you had more fun than you thought you were going to have. Anyway, like I said again, if you have questions, you can come to OMNI Resources. If you have a project request, you can go to oru.edu/project-request, all lowercase. Of course, you can always email us. So, hope you guys have a good day.